don't know how to say this, but it feels like we have lost the will to live.
What do you mean?
Hey, everybody, I'm Griffin.
He did this last week. Look at that spike.
Hey! I'm
We want people to
foreshadowing.
drop their cups of coffee on the subway.
Draft day style.
Yeah.
I'm foreshadowing what we're going to talk about today on this week's episode of Revenge of the Podcast.
I'm being the robot doctor.
David's cupping his hands.
You know, the robot doctor comes out and he cups his hands.
He's licking his fingers. I am Griffin.
I'm David Sims.
This is Griffin and David present Revenge of the Podcast, a podcast where we discuss the third and final film in Georgie Porgy Lucas's Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, the
his
Phantom Menace saga. Yeah.
Saga.
That's what we call it.
It's called Revenge of the Sith. We have a very special guest with us here today.
Mm-hmm.
David, would you like to introduce her? Because you, and I'm not angry about this,
You shouldn't be.
have podcasted with her in the past.
Yeah, but she was the original podcast.
I'm not
You're
jealous.
You're the cheap.
I'm not jealous.
You know, you're the other woman.
I'm not jealous.
This is Sonia Saraiya.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, David.
Who I do a podcast with called Night Cheese.
Hi. Yeah, it's fun. We should eat cheese, actually, on this podcast.
We should have got. Well, I did just have a chicken parm flatbread from PAX Wholesome Foods.
Is that really what you want to put on the line right now?
Look, that's what they had, and that's what I got. What did you have?
I had a crispy chicken club
All
that
right.
had cheese on it as well.
Sonia's the TV critic for Salon.com.
Yes, and Griffin, you are the other woman.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
I
did cheat on Sonia
when
with
when you guys first started talking about the podcast on Twitter, I did yell at you both about starting this without
I know.
me.
I
Yeah.
know.
I just want that
We
to be
got
clear.
you on.
No, I appreciate it. Obviously, whatever. This is a threesome, literally, right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's not let Ben can have some
I
fun.
can
Here's a
watch.
foursome.
Yeah.
Ben's watching.
Ben's in the corner.
Yeah, of course, we have with us, as always, producer Ben, a.k.a. Producer Ben, a.k.a. the Ben Deucer, a.k.a. Mr. Positive, a.k.a. the Haas, a.k.a. Hello Fennel, a.k.a. Peeping Tom.
Hey, he's
All
got
right,
a
he's got a new
new
nickname because he's going to watch while we all boon.
Sorry,
I'm making it uncomfortable for that was the joke we were all making.
It's true, we were in.
yeah, but I
involved
just
in a
wanted to
joke.
rip the rug out from under you.
Sonia, if you're saying that I'm the other woman
Yes.
in this situation,
Mhm.
Ben would be
What are you doing right now?
Kate Upton.
Oh, we're doing the film The Other Woman.
You would be Leslie Mann. I'd be Cameron Diaz. And
wait,
David
and
would
I
be
am Nikolai
Coster-Waldau.
Coster-Waldau.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a really good position for you.
I guess so. He really. Have you seen that movie? He goes through some tough stuff in that movie.
I actually have not seen that movie.
Yeah,
no.
he they give him hormones and his nipples get enlarged. I think he loses his job at the end of the movie. Yeah, it's a weird movie, The Other Woman.
You shouldn't cheat.
Yeah. Well, shouldn't he twice? That's his mistake. He cheats 2 times.
Oh God.
Cheats on Man with Diaz, and then on Diaz with Kate Upton. That's what the movie is.
Didn't Nick Cassavetes direct that movie?
That's probably true. Why were we talking about Cassavetes before? He discovered a young Jake Lloyd way back when.
Yeah. Sometimes the apple falls so far from the tree, it's in a different galaxy.
Far, far away.
Which brings us to the Star Wars galaxy. Today, Sonia, we're very excited to have you on the show to discuss Padmé's role in the film Revenge of the Sith, or lack thereof.
I want to say it's a little fucked up that we always have a female guest for whenever we talk about Padmé.
Is that true?
I think it's unintentional, but because we had Rachel on for the second
Oh, boy.
for episode 2. But
She
that was
did-
because Rachel was the only person I've ever met who actually was into Anakin and Padmé.
Found it romantic.
Like at the
Really?
time.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait,
was-
Rachel Sanders?
Rachel
no,
Lang.
Rachel Lang.
I don't
Yeah.
know who this is.
She's
but,
a friend of ours. She was on our trivia
Good friend.
team.
but that is
I
fascinating.
know.
Yeah.
She was all in when she was 12 or whatever.
Wow.
13.
Yeah.
On Anakin. Were you all in on Anakin and Padmé?
I was hypothetically all in on both of them.
Okay.
And then,
Speak on that.
Oh
Please
God.
speak on that. Yeah, what's your experience with the Star Wars, with the Phantom Menace saga?
Well, of course, because these are the only 3 Star Wars films.
Yep.
I definitely did not come into the prequel with any idea of what 2 characters I wanted to end up together.
Right.
But I was so weirded out from the get-go by the fact that they had this like maternal, like that she
Yep.
had this like maternal
Yep.
thing going on,
Especially in
with him.
Phantom. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because you're watching it and you're going, wait a minute, are those 2 going to be the 2 they put together?
Yeah.
And then they are. And it doesn't really change, like that sort of weird taking care of thing. Like it
This is
never.
a good point.
they never really have chemistry. It never really takes off.
No.
Oh, no.
Like,
And
it's
she is
unfortunate.
always the sort of like now Anakin. She does a lot of, what are you talking about?
Well,
Anakin?
in this film, I was noticing because, as I was saying before, I watched just the Padme and Anakin scenes, and
sure.
Padme scenes.
You give yourself a concentrated dose.
Takes me about 10 minutes because it's.
She's not in this movie.
Not in this movie very
We
much.
should talk about that.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's a little frustrating.
We
to be
think
frank.
Portman may have just been like, George, I'm busy now. Like, please, let's just,
But I do think there's a lot to discuss in how little of this film she is in. Because George has said in behind-the-scenes material for Phantom Menace that he considered her the lead of that movie.
Yeah.
That it
he
was
considers
her
Amidala the
story.
lead of Phantom.
Oh, wow.
Her story told from the perspective of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon is how he describes the first film.
I will say that, I'm sorry, showing my stripes here, but I really did like her portrayal in the first movie.
We like her in the first movie.
Yeah.
Griffin made such a face.
I like her as Padme and not as much as Queen Amidala.
Yeah,
but she's not playing Amidala that much.
Right, but also because Keira Knightley sub is in for
right.
so it's a little complicated.
Yeah.
The great Peyton Swit.
The
legendary Khan played
I
him.
actually think they did a pretty good job with that.
Well,
though.
they look similar. You just never quite know why it's happening.
Right, right, and then all of a sudden it happens and there's feelings. Right. I liked that because I liked that she was a politician. I liked that she had whatever.
Yeah.
She had like a coterie of, her handmaidens who were sort of also her like advisors, even though they sort of looked like weird nuns.
And her bodyguards.
And her bodyguards.
Mm-hmm. And they'd all lost to her in elections, as we discovered.
We found this out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they were the losing candidates.
Also the losing candidates for the role, I believe.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
They didn't get to be queens, so instead they had to be handmaidens.
Right.
It's like if...
But are you saying
Mitt
in
Romney.
the mythology they also all were like vice presidents? Like
We're saying within the mythology, all of them ran against her, and then because they lost, they had to take the position of handmaiden.
But also in
and
real
royal
life,
decoy.
all of them auditioned.
Oh, yeah,
for
right.
Queen Amidala.
It was reflecting reality,
So-
of course.
oh, my God.
Well, not Sofia Coppola, though.
I think she just wanted to work on it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We're getting way into the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
My
But just
mistake.
imagine if Mitt Romney had to be Obama's butler if he lost to him. I
It would
still
be
think
so
it's
great.
funny.
It would
Yeah,
be the
still think it's
greatest.
Episode 1, Padme's super important.
Yeah, she's important and she's a plot driver and she gets a chance to like be courageous and be interesting and whatever.
She's the fucking queen of a planet.
Queen of a
She's
planet.
the queen of a planet.
And she successfully defends
at
it.
14.
At
Which
14.
is bizarre.
Very impressive.
Yes, and then she becomes a baby crazy lunatic. Like
Well,
really...
let's talk about episode 2 for a little bit. Let's
All
just so we can chart this transition,
Okay.
the devolution of her character and her
devolution of Padmé
agency,
Amidala.
right?
Sure. Yeah.
So episode 2, she's a senator.
Sure.
She's been demoted, but she's
a
speaks of
playmaker.
being very happy now with less responsibility.
Well, she sort of has less responsibility, and she sort of has more. Like she sort of graduated from like governing this the planet to like sort of being the representative on the world stage. She's sort of like in a Secretary
Galactic
of State position.
stage.
It's it's like a cool
Yeah.
She's
the
like
leader of a
post-queen
wing
thing to do.
in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
she's the leader of the anti-militarization wing.
Yeah.
And she
Gets a bodyguard.
gets a bodyguard who's Anakin Skywalker.
Yep. Who's an 8-year-old boy she met once who asked if she was an angel.
And still has a major boner for her.
Just a huge.
It is
huge,
the most obvious,
and
most
watches her
unpleasant boner.
watches her on security feeds while she sleeps.
He is violently devoid of charisma,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
she cannot help but fall in love with him.
Yeah,
It
I know.
makes no
And
sense.
he expresses
whatsoever.
his interest in a dictatorship running the galaxy.
People disagree with you.
And he
You
says
should
that
kill them.
And he says that politicians are stupid. She's a politician.
But somehow she's
And this
charmed
is their
by
courtship, yeah. And then they like roll around in
He's
the flowers.
negging her. He's negging her.
He's negging her.
Stunning. Well,
Serious.
this is the thing. If you watch their relationship, they have such an abusive dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
It is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like
He's a bad boy.
he sucks.
He's a bad person.
Sucks. He threatens her like constantly, and like over the course of these 3 films, she's like this independent person who gradually becomes like sequestered into his quarters.
Right.
Like it's
And this is crucial in the third movie.
Yeah,
Where she's
right.
basically only on one set.
right, and
Yeah.
she's only in that weird circular living room of
Yeah.
theirs with like all of the cushions. And every
A lot of
time
cushions.
that they're there, she's like slightly more pregnant, but also it's the least convincing baby bump of all time.
Yeah.
I
No,
think we should
but
get
I
into
mean-
that
I
for a
mean,
second.
that-
But also, every time that they talk, he is dour, they have no joy, and she's always saying, "You have to let me in."
Right.
And it's like, oh my God. Like, it's textbook abusive relationship.
Well, also, most abusive relationships, I feel, run hot and cold.
Right.
Like, there is a hot,
Right.
Where you go, why do you stay with him? He's such an asshole.
And it's like,
well, you don't know sometimes.
Right.
Anakin's never given her anything other than just bummer sass.
And sperm.
Yeah. He's just go, all the time. And she's like, I don't know. I just love him so much.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I think she's a busy lady. At least up until the third movie, right?
She's retired now in this third one.
I know.
No,
well,
she's still kind of in the Senate, isn't she? Because at the end, she's with Bail Organa, and they're in one of their little pods. Is she not in the Senate?
I thought they were just watching it.
She dies at the end of the movie.
No,
not the
Spoiler
end.
alert.
We're talking about.
I think you're right.
Someone didn't do her research.
I think
you're right.
that she's saying
hanging out with
that
Bail
the
Organa for a
Queen will
bit.
not let her be in the Senate anymore once it's like discovered that they're whatever their illicit relationship.
The Queen, played by Keisha Castle Hughes.
Academy Award nominee.
Yeah, who doesn't actually have a line in this movie.
No,
but
she
you
does
do
not.
see her at the funeral.
Yep.
By the way, I think it's also interesting that they don't have sonograms in this universe.
That no one knew.
No one knows that she has twins. Look, it's inexplicable because it's not a twist in the movie when she has two babies.
Yeah.
Like, it plays no plot point, but for some reason they decide to reveal it then. Like,
Yes.
I don't know why. Like, they could have just said, like, I'm pregnant, Annie, with twins.
Well,
Congrats. Twins.
Well,
I guess it's so Anakin doesn't know there's a
so
sister
Anakin doesn't
or
know,
a brother.
But I mean, these are obviously the only 3 films that he's ever made, so it doesn't matter. But you know,
It's very
I
annoying.
don't understand why you keep on restating things. Our listenership is not stupid, Sonia. You can just...
Look, we don't like bits on this podcast.
We know how many movies there are.
Okay.
Look, I just want to make this clear.
We have a
I'm
very
anti-bit.
erudite listenership.
Yeah,
they are
we do.
well educated.
Oh, can I read some listener
Oh,
reviews?
sidebar. I'm sorry, Sonia, to cut you off, but it's very important we do some housekeeping
I'm
every
cutting
episode.
you off to read some listener reviews.
It's very important we do some housekeeping because rating us, reviewing us,
Please.
subscribing to our cousin podcast on the UCB Comedy Network.
We have 42 reviews now. Don't you want to bump us up to 50?
Well, I don't know, 42 Jackie Robinson. Maybe that's the right number.
it's a good number.
Maybe we go one above. We
Noted
become
baseball
problematic.
fan Griffin Newman.
Yep.
Okay.
No one mentioned Hitchhikers.
Hitchhikers? Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Of course, 42.
Oh.
The life, the universe, and everything.
So everyone, please keep rating, but don't review anymore because we found the perfect number of reviews.
No,
Don't say that. No, keep.
No.
Please review.
Don't-
Please review.
No.
Don't listen to him.
Don't
wait,
review us.
Keep reviewing.
Do not.
Please.
I want to. So I just want to say some things. Read out some reviews. We've got a review from Ramona Castle. Have you read this one?
I think this is our friend Ramona.
Perhaps. There's a heart is the title.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Griffin and David. I love you both, even though every episode of this belies it. You're both perfect gentlemen. 5 stars. Wow. Now, how about this one from Conrado Falco? Did you read this one? This one's really
I'm looking
good.
at this one right
Why
now.
do you read that aloud?
Mozart, Tolstoy, Picasso, Griffin and David. P.S. Producer Ben is also a genius. That's the full review.
All right.
That's the full review.
All right, and here from Monkey Shines. Hello, Fennel, he says. Though I am dismayed, nay furious at the fact that there's no new episode this week. That was last week or 2 weeks ago. When is this episode coming out?
We're recording
while
2
back.
at once. Yeah.
I've decided to give this a 5-star rating because only David and Griffin could piss me off this much. The Ben Deucer is just charming and never rankles me.
Oh,
There you go, Ben.
Thanks.
All right, that's enough
Thanks,
reviews.
Monkey
I got one
Shines.
more I want to read. I got one more I want to read. This is the last one. 5-star review. The subject heading is delightful. Love the podcast, but if I have it my way, you will never work in show business again, Griffin. And that review is from Colin Trevorrow.
You're an asshole, Colin. What if it was from Colin Trevorrow?
I mean, who knows?
What
Maybe
if
that's his
Colin Trevorrow
iTunes account.
Was so was so obsessed with himself that he even heard our podcast dissing him. We don't like Colin Trevorrow. Do you know the director of Jurassic World?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
a bummer, and
Yeah.
he should be kicked in the penis.
Didn't he say some dumb shit about women?
He did.
Okay.
Oh,
this is,
yes.
This is like what I know him
He gave
for.
one of those answers where it's like, look, of course I think more women should direct movies. But they don't want to, and there's not enough women, and where are
said-
the women anyway?
yeah,
And
he
like,
essentially
he said
said,
like
like-
8 things that suck.
He said, listen, sweetie, the thing you don't understand is that
We are going to get sued.
women don't want to do big-budget movies. That's not what they're interested
I
in.
have no interest in doing big budget movies myself.
No,
Yeah.
no one does.
Just why I'm here talking about Star Wars.
Yeah,
That's
no.
why.
No, there's a reason it's a white man's game, because only white men like them. Only white men like being successful. That's why.
Fucking true.
Throughout history, only white men have succeeded.
I hate Colin.
It's because they're the only ones that want to.
Why did
no one
Other
else
people
wanted
like
it hard
failing. It's
enough. True.
weird.
It's true. It's true.
So,
listenership, please rate, review, subscribe, and kick Colin Trevorrow in his wiener. That's now end of housekeeping segment.
Yep.
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman in this movie,
Yes.
like you said. So here's Padmé's arc in this movie,
Mhm.
right? We've got the opening battle scene. And let's remember, I'm sorry, in the first two movies, she has a gun.
Yeah.
She's in all the action
She
sequences.
gets in it.
In the second movie, she's in a gladiator pit. She fights a praying mantis
She
and a
gets the
cat.
good
She gets the-
midriff tearing
yeah, it's a
thing.
little-
A scar only
Yeah.
on her back.
Yeah, and then at the end, and then at the before the climactic sequence, she falls out of a spaceship or whatever. She at least gets to have a little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh,
This
she's
one,
there. Yeah.
They come back from the war, and she's like, "Annie, I'm pregnant," and his reaction is kind of like,
Oh.
"Yeah, great,
Oh, great. I'm so
woo,
excited. I love you
happy."
so much.
And then she's in her apartment for a bunch of scenes.
Is it an apartment?
It's a
I
very-
feel like it's like a penthouse. It's
like a loft.
condo.
it's Coruscant, so I don't think there's anything but apartments. I don't think anyone has a townhouse, right?
Whole planet's
Well,
a city. I don't know
Whole
if you know
planet's a
this.
city.
It's a goddamn nice whatever.
It's
it
very
is.
nice.
I
It
will
has
say
this
that.
huge
Yeah.
balcony.
It's like
Yeah.
massive.
It's
and
got like a
mostly open
helipad for a
air.
balcony.
Yeah. Who knows what's under it? Like slaves. It's just like 14
Well, that's
stories
how
of slaves.
Coruscant works. I think it's like there's like the surface level,
There's
real
like
nasty.
1,000 basements,
Right,
right? Yeah.
mid level, so.
Would you,
Up
would you
to
say
the top?
it's downtown or uptown?
Yeah, what do you
Uptown.
think? Uptown Coruscant?
I think it's uptown. The thing we don't
On the planet?
It's
we,
hard. It's
we
really
already
hard.
talked about how the whole planet's a city.
uptown in relation to how close to the sky it is.
Oh, right. Obviously.
The
Yeah.
thing we need to acknowledge, though, is, yes, it's a really nice apartment. How'd she afford it? It is a studio. We only ever see the one room.
That's
No.
true.
We see the bedroom too, Griffin.
Oh, that's
Wow.
right.
Fuck.
That's right, because he
Wow.
has the Padme dream.
Yes.
He has the Padme dream.
Also, I have so many issues with that scene. What the fuck does she wear to bed in that scene? She has this like beaded nightgown.
She's Padme
no
Amidala.
human
No,
would wear
have you seen how
beads.
she dresses in these two movies? She dresses like a... Yeah, anyway.
it's a little late to start this argument.
But she's wearing them
3 movies in.
I know. No, I
It's
know.
horrible. And he gets to be shirtless in bed, and she has to wear some beaded concoction. Also, she has that thing to brush her hair.
Yes.
No difference is occurring on her hair
Well-
while that is happening.
Well, her hair is impeccably styled already.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
I mean,
frizzy
yeah,
and
it's
like
frizzy.
90s
Impeccably frizzy.
curly. There's like something, like the whole thing around her. Her costuming is messed up. Her character is messed up. It's like they forgot how to have thoughts about her. Like
Well-
they just.
She's a real character in 2 movies, and then in this movie, yeah, it's more just
She's-
like she's just a plot device to drive Anakin crazy.
Well, and as soon as she gets pregnant, she has to like
She's
be
barefoot and
confined.
pregnant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has to be like literally like she has no character. She can't do anything anymore,
Nope.
and it's ugh.
You also think, we've talked about in the past on this show that a well-known and beloved political figure, a former queen, then senator, suddenly becoming pregnant with no identified father.
Yeah.
She's in an interesting situation, right? That she is a woman who is having to keep her love secret.
Right.
It's almost like, I don't know, maybe you could do scenes addressing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Might be
Maybe
interesting.
that's an interesting plot thread to follow about how she navigates this world in
But
which she has to keep her love a secret.
No, it would be so cool.
She appears to be having children out of wedlock,
but she
though
never
secretly
leaves
she is
her
married.
house.
Right.
And there's no discussion of like what like so marriage is like forbidden for Jedi,
Yeah.
I guess. But like there's no discussion of marriage for like the rest of this universe. Like what role it plays, like how
No, we have no idea.
What it looks like.
This
for
is
her
the
to be
only
in
married
this, like-
couple we know in the whole
Yeah,
series.
right.
That's
Like-
actually Lars.
Beru and Lars.
and
Owen and Lars. Well, Owen
yeah,
and Beru.
yes.
Whatever the fuck.
yeah,
And Shmi and
right, and
Lars.
but
whatever.
they're common folk.
Yeah,
They're salt of the earth. They have no interest in directing big budget blockbusters.
that's true.
And what's Bail Organa has a wife, does he not, Jimmy Smits?
Oh, he says like
He says he
we'll
has a
take a
wife.
girl. Me and my wife have always
You don't
wanted
see
a girl.
her.
Mm.
Yeah,
he
I can't.
says-
It makes no sense.
Okay,
Well,
let's
it
not,
all
let's not jump
seems
ahead.
like-
Let's not jump ahead.
Jimmy Smith.
So the whole movie, all conflict in this film.
David,
Smith.
we don't like bits.
Smith.
Go on, please. The whole movie.
The whole conflict of this movie derives from Anakin's love for Padme being so profound that he will do anything to save her.
Yes.
Including kill her.
Yes.
Well, we'll get to that, right? And we already talked about that a little because that is bonkers.
Bananas. Big pile of bananas. You feel like I know that we already had a previous film, Attack of the Clones, that gave us scene after scene of exquisitely written romantic courtship, right?
Of course.
But I believe, whether you're making a sequel or an original film, you cannot presume that the audience has empathy for your characters, and you have to set the pieces back on the board at the beginning of the new film, remind everyone why they like those characters, reestablish relationships. You don't have to explain everything, but just like emotionally get us back into the world. This film, as you said, gives us no scene where they seem to like each other.
No, that is true.
Right?
His reaction to her pregnancy, that just defines their whole relationship
It's
in this
purely
movie.
like obsessive. Yeah.
Obsessive
Like,
and like burdened.
Yeah.
You know?
Brooding.
Like,
Brooding. A lot of brooding.
Because bits aside, it is not well executed in Attack of the Clones, but they devote a lot of screen time to showing the two of them fall in love and wrestle with it.
Yeah.
And it's two actors...
And wrestle with each other.
It's two actors trying to show people being in love with each other.
Yeah.
And this movie, they didn't even fucking bother.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you said the maternal thing.
Yeah.
Right? And like there is this thing, like he loses his mother, right?
Yeah.
And like this woman is like
Oh, and
obviously filling that void.
Well, and just in case you didn't get it, he brings it up 14 times in this
Mhm.
movie,
And yeah.
too, where he's like, I can't lose you. the
Right.
way
In
I
this
lost
movie,
my
he's like, I
mother."
need you. I need to save her.
Blah, blah, blah.
Anyway, and yeah, so it's all justification for him to turn to the dark side. It's poor justification.
It's shitty
It's
justification.
not handled well.
I mean,
He has one bad dream.
if anything, the arc is sort of, I mean, if anything, what the movie underscores to me is that he was going to anyway. Like, and this, like, because he had a pretty warped worldview, and she just happened to fit into it.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't, the real thing that's maddening is it's less him, because he just sucks right from the start.
Mhm.
It's her. Like, what? Like, we never get a sense through her eyes of what she sees in this person.
No.
What really motivates her. Because she says at the end, as she's dying on that slab, she's like, there's good in him. And it's like,
Still,
is
I know. Yeah.
Is there?
But she's like really holding on to that.
She's
Her
really
final
holding
words
on
are
to
like,
that.
Obi-Wan, I promise you there's still good in him.
Right.
She has no agency in this film.
No.
No.
And
Well, no, she does name them.
yeah, that's true.
Oh, you're right. That is a big
Where
distinction.
the fuck do those names come
right.
from?
She is ready with those names.
She, like-
she didn't know she had twins, but she has two names.
Yes.
Loaded.
She's dying on
Luke,
a slab.
Leia,
She's like
I'm dead.
hallucinating. Luke, Leia, he's still good. I'm dead. That birth scene is like biologically
It's
impossible.
hysterical.
Like,
All right, so as we said, Natalie Portman, she's a petite woman. She's thin. She's always been thin, but she is
Elfin.
She's at her thinnest in this.
Tiny.
oh my god, yes.
She
Itty
kind of,
bitty incy
I would
wincy.
say she kind of bounced back a little bit after this. Like
Yeah.
movies like
Black
Your Highness
Swan.
and Black Swan, she's pretty skinny too because
but
the ballerina
she's,
thing.
But she's muscular.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
more.
Like
yeah.
I feel like and in the Thor movie, she's gotten a little more normal looking again. But this was really, she's
Mm-hmm.
so painfully
She's
skinny
a little
in this
lady
movie.
in this.
And it sucks because she's supposed to be pregnant
Yeah.
with twins.
Right.
Oh,
of
there's-
all things.
She's like running around in some scenes, and you're like, that is not a pregnant. And
Yeah.
even her face looks like really
She's
drawn.
drawn.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I forget where Natalie Portman is in life in this moment. Has she graduated from Harvard yet?
I think she
Yeah,
just
yeah.
had.
Right. So she's kind of re-entering the world
Yes.
of movies.
Yes.
Because she kind of kept it pretty chill during her Star Wars period. She went to school. She didn't do a lot of movies.
She
I
had
don't
the
remember.
back-to-back Anywhere But Here
Well, that's in
and Where the
2000,
Heart Is.
right.
Right, I'm saying, which came right after Phantom Menace. And I think those
I
are
love
probably...
Where the Heart Is. That's it.
I
Bye.
always get those two movies confused, and it's fucked me up in trivia like 3 times.
Where the
Oh.
Heart is the one with Ashley Judd.
Yeah,
set in
and
the mall.
Walmart.
And Anywhere But
The
Here
Walmart.
is the Sarah.
Anywhere But Here is
Susan
the
Sarandon
one written by Steve Jobs' biological sister about their
Kate
biological
Winslet?
mother. Very
Dumb joke doesn't even track. Doesn't even track.
doesn't track.
Doesn't even track. We're all
Did you know
looking
that?
up Natalie
Did you know that
Portman.
Steve Jobs Steve Jobs was adopted, but his biological mother had another
Yes,
daughter with the
yes.
same person.
Yes.
Who's Steve Jobs' whole sister. And she was a real wackadoo. And then that daughter grew up to be Mona Simpson, and she wrote a book called Anywhere But Here about her relationship with her mother. Got turned into a movie.
Whoa.
Mhm.
That's so weird.
So Susan Sarandon is playing Steve Jobs' biological mother in Anywhere But Here.
So
I'm
Yeah.
looking at this.
Yeah, and then
too.
she's in Star Wars. She has the brief scene in
she
Cold
was
Mountain
in-
that we discussed.
She
It's
was
so
in
wonderful.
Closer right before.
Closer in
Yeah.
Garden State.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Garden
Right, so she
State.
just had her out of Harvard,
Oh, and Cold
her
Mountain.
Closer Garden State. She gets nominated for an Oscar that year.
But you know what I would bet? I mean,
And
because
then this year she's in V for Vendetta and Revenge of the Sith.
all our research has showed
And she's
us.
in Free Zone, that Israeli movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's okay.
All our research has shown us that the Phantom Menace movies were usually filmed 2 years before they came out, right?
Right. So
you
she
go-
probably went on from this to make Garden State.
I think Revenge of the Sith was shot in 2003, and then she goes and comes back with Closer, with Garden State, with Free Zone, which all come out right before in the in-between period.
And then she was in her career apex, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
God, she's so good in that.
No, she's not.
She's really good in that. She's really winning in that.
No, she's not.
She's really good in Hotel Chevalier.
In the short movie about Darjeeling Limited?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this.
She's
Yeah,
she's
she was in the other Berlin Girl. She was in Brothers. She took a while to kind
She was
of
in
settle.
Paris,
Yeah, and then Black
Wow.
Swan, and then anyway.
Is she blind and or with a blind person in
what?
Paris Je t'aime? She's got.
Oh,
she's with the blind
yeah.
person.
She's with the blind
she falls in love with the blind
person.
person,
Right,
and then
right.
in New York Chatham, New York I Love You. She plays an Israeli woman with a shaved head.
I haven't seen New York, I Love You.
It's really bad.
Okay, did you like Paris Je t'aime?
I
though?
like
It has
maybe
a couple good ones.
yeah.
like
Coen
yeah,
Brothers one is
some of
good.
it. Yeah,
I'd say 40% of Paris Je t'aime is good,
Yeah.
and like 10%
okay,
of New York I Love You is good.
that makes sense.
So we're just saying she's painfully skinny in this movie. Right.
Yes.
That was our original point.
She's painfully
And
skinny.
it looks like she's pregnant with half a baby, not two babies.
It looks like she has
the
a
baby
couple
bump
limbs.
looks really bad.
And
on
then when
her.
she's delivering the baby, there's like this hood over
Oh, I can't
her
even
midsection.
talk. She's not pushing, but
No,
they say it's
she's
an
just
operation.
lying there.
Yeah.
And
It's-
there's some sort of doctor that has like
It's a droid doctor.
It's a droid doctor that has this sort of scoopy tool.
These powder
yeah, yeah,
appendages.
yeah.
It's
It basically has
horrifying.
like a forceps hand.
Oh my god,
And-
it's so horrifying.
And we don't see the baby's birth. We kind of just see
no,
babies.
they just pop out of this
Yeah.
hood.
Yeah.
She screams a bunch,
Yeah.
but she's not pushing.
And it's sort
in
of
any discernible
reflecting the
way.
dream. It turns out that's what the dream was, right? It's sort of supposed to bounce back to the dream.
You thought she was dying, but she was actually just
She was in
giving
labor.
birth.
Yeah. And the thing
No,
is,
she was dying.
well, she
though.
was, but
Well,
you know.
but this is like a whole.
Yeah,
like,
this is a
I mean,
chicken egg thing.
This is like a gnarly fucking thing because the dream he has
Sure.
looks like just someone in delivery.
yeah.
Yes.
And then
dying in
she
childbirth.
says, "I'm pregnant." Why doesn't he think like, "Oh, maybe I'm dreaming about her in labor," not like go to Darth Sidious and be like, "My wife's gonna die."
But this is the point. So Bail Organa and Obi-Wan take her away after she's been choked. I know we're going a little out of order here,
Yeah,
right?
it's
But
We
like,
have talked about the choking before and how Anakin spends the whole movie trying to rescue Padme from this death, and then sees her on a ship with Obi-Wan and just chokes her out.
Which
Like,
is, I mean, it is like the most classic abuser mentality.
It
I
is
think, like,
the-
it makes perfect sense
and-
from that perspective.
Right, we talked about it. I mean, we talked about it in the Anakin episode.
Yeah.
It's abuse, right?
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
culmination
It's
of
literally
yeah,
exactly what that is.
he was willing to do anything to save her, but then once he found out that she told someone else, he was
Right.
willing to kill her
He-
out of anger for
right.
I guess so.
nothing.
But then he just
Yeah.
blames Obi-Wan immediately, obviously.
Well, and he doesn't, as long as he's on her side, she's on his side. It's this whole, he is a messed up. He's messed up. He's messed
Yeah.
up.
He's a mess
Basically,
up
and
guy.
he
Yeah.
visits her and he'll just be like, "Hey, Jedi seem really bad."
just want to give you a heads up, Jedi, being real dumb lately.
Yeah, so you work for the Senate, right? And she's like, "Yeah, I guess so." And he's like, "Yeah, well, they're against the Senate, so I guess you hate the Jedis like I do. Anyway, I'm going to see you later."
I gotta go kill some
later.
kids.
He comes back later and he's like, "Yo, Padme, heads up, Senate might suck too."
Why does he care so much about? This is something that confused me when, like, he rolls up and, well, like, they're talking about politics or something, and she's like, "Yeah, like, maybe things aren't really as, maybe we're, like, not fighting for the right people." And
Yeah.
he's like, "How could you fucking say that,
Yeah,
bitch?
it's true.
Like,
Yeah.
why?
He
Who
turns right on.
cares?"
Well, he's very. If you're not with me, you're against me. You know, he's really he walks a.
But who is he? Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. He walks a tight line.
There's no end game with Anakin.
Look, I mean, we should say, even though we don't touch on this enough, he is being brainwashed by like the most evil wizard of the last 1,000 years.
Who's also his magical father
Yeah.
who made him out of air.
So you know, like I guess that's part of the problem here, right? You know, you
reasonable.
do have like this comically evil man manipulating him. We keep saying like Anakin's such a jerk, and it's like there is a guy who's like, you know.
Yeah, but you know
Right next to him.
the argument against that is the first scene where she tells him that she's pregnant, which is before he started really talking to Palpatine, and he's still a fucking
Yeah,
bummer.
Look,
he's
he
just
sucks.
a loser.
And he
from
goes
the
like-
start.
Oh my god, pancake!
Oh my god, Pancake!
Oh my god, pancake!
It's what his name. It's his pet name for her, Pancake.
Oh my god, Padme!
Pancake Amidala.
Padme, that's the best news I ever had.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
I don't even know what are you looking at right now, Ben?
I'm gonna start calling her
No, no.
Okay.
Pancake
Don't
Amidala.
worry
Pancake
about
Amidala.
All right.
There is this trope, well known, especially in like genre works and in comic books, as the fridging women.
Oh yeah.
Fridged women.
Yeah, girl in a refrigerator.
Right, which I think the original...
Green Lantern.
Right, it was a Green Lantern. His wife, he found her dead.
I think Kyle Rayner's girlfriend,
Yes.
just got killed and stuffed into her refrigerator.
Right, and he sees her dead, and it's like, that's the
The
impetus.
90s, people! If people got killed, it was interesting and dramatic.
It's a movie, or
No,
it's
it's a
in the
comic book.
comic
In the
book?
comic books.
Okay.
It was seen as like, but yeah, like it was a reflection of this like kind of crappy trend in genre storytelling.
Yeah.
But it became like the big character motivator for the next year or two, was like everything was about avenging the death of the girlfriend.
Right.
And the trope is setting up a female character only to have her die or be kidnapped or something to motivate the male character to do something.
Yeah.
Right.
To put her through horrible, horrible circumstances that the male character has something
and then the
to
writer's
fight
like,
against.
but it's Shakespearean. Like they always have like, what do you
Right.
mean? It's classic. Like
Yeah.
fair
It's
enough.
beyond the damsel in distress. It's like, someone who is not in distress at the beginning suffering something so that the male character can become more heroic ultimately or whatever.
And I think the crucial thing is like for the male character. Like
Yes,
the
it's
real
for the
problem
male character.
with Amidala is that she has no interiority. She has like no perspective in this entire
She
thing.
has babies in her.
She has right.
Yeah,
That's a
Sonia,
good-
correction.
No, but in the
Two.
first movie, she does. That's what's so annoying.
That is
right.
what's
In the first
annoying.
movie, she does. In the second movie, you know,
I'd say she
sort
does
of.
still in the second. Yeah.
You know, a little less maybe, but you know.
And one of the reasons is because the first movie passes the Bechdel test. Do you want to talk about it?
Oh yeah, let's
First
talk about it.
movie, first movie definitely passes the Bechdel
Right.
test.
And
Although
I mean,
it is interesting because it's a lot of sort of Padmé talking to herself
Right,
in
yeah.
a weird sort of way. You know,
right.
like-
But it is like her closest advisors
Oh, yeah,
or
all
whatever.
women, yeah.
God, I sound like the worst parody of a feminist today.
Oh, we're gonna get gamergated.
Yeah.
We're gonna get gamer.
Also,
Gamergate.
I just want to remind you that this is the worst parody of a podcast, so you can't. This is. We don't have much space to
I'll
fall.
take it. No, I mean, I really was brought in as like the feminist critic of
Yes,
Padmé
yes,
Amidala today or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I do think these things are interesting, but also I'm not.
Well,
as
it's lazy.
terrible as I
It's
see.
laziness,
It's
right?
lazy.
George Lucas is
Right.
a lazy writer,
Right, that's
more
it,
than anything
yeah.
else, and so these kind of lazy things happen.
Right, and even these like what I think of as even just like the lowest bar or the first bar of like critique, like social justice, feminist critique. They start to apply because this is such a lazy narrative. Like in so many ways, it's so insulting, honestly, to not just the female viewers, to all of the viewers.
Right,
Like
this
this
is-
whole notion of like an origin story. It's,
And that's why people get mad, I think, because
Yeah.
it's like it's a weak justification for a lot of things.
Well, I also think this is like the only instance I have ever seen of pre-fridging. Where, like most movies, it is a male character discovers a horrible thing that has befallen a female character and then reacts to that.
Right.
And this is a male character anticipates something terrible is going to happen.
Right.
And then in the process causes that terrible thing to happen.
well, it's very mythological, actually.
Right. It,
Yeah,
it's very
it's
very
very
Greek.
Greek.
It's like yeah.
Right.
It's
With
very,
someone's always giving some sort of horrible prophecy,
right. And they're trying.
then
Oedipus is trying to get around
Right.
the prophecy, and oh boy, does he fuck up!
right,
You gotta
but you
fuck
can
them
never
up.
you can never thwart a prophecy. That's
Yes.
just learn that, heroes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you just can't.
Like,
So-
that is true. It just is annoying
well, and not to
in
keep
this
on going
movie
in circles.
they don't add anything to that.
Can
or
I
whatever.
ask a somewhat secondary question? How do you guys feel about the introduction of Bail Organa into this story and like where it ends up with like him taking the girl?
He's in
like,
Attack of the Clones
right,
very briefly.
but he like is more integrated.
He,
into
although
the-
I think we were hoping he'd be even. He still kind of is just sort of like,
Oh, he's
hello, I'm Bail Organa.
he's completely random.
I
He's
do
like,
wanna talk
let's
about something.
let's rescue one of the characters.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean,
bring her in.
That seems to be his entire purpose.
right.
And I'd also argue that some of the stuff that he does in this film feels like the stuff that Padmé would have been doing in the movie, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Like
totally.
the role he occupies as like a senator, as like a lone voice of reason in a crumbling democracy. I understand the idea is sort of to give her like an ally.
Right.
But he ends up doing all the active things that she doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just like going back to the Jedi Council, trying to save them, all that sort of stuff. It's like,
But I want to say something about Bail Organa.
please.
And I hate bits. I hate bits.
Are you gonna say Jimmy Smits?
No, I love Jimmy Smits.
Are you
I
ju-
hate
are you
bits and I
just-
love Jimmy Smits.
are
But
you-
hate bits, love Smits.
Pro bits, anti Smiths.
Anyway.
No, fucking, I flipped it. Oh, fuck.
Oh no, now we're pro bits. Oh no.
Anti bits, pro Smiths. Anti bits, pro Smiths.
Anyway, so this movie has a lot of CGI.
Correct.
Has a lot of crappy set design as a result.
I can't wait to hear what we're
It's
doing.
got pillars. There's that scene with the pillars. I've mentioned it so many times on this podcast, but when the pregnancy is announced, they're in this room that's just infinite pillars. It's just a copy paste of pillars. Like it's just there's some things where you're like, well, come on, guys. Jimmy Smits drives a ship, and he's got the Organa people have this ship.
The Organa-mobile.
Jimmy Smits.
Jimmy Smits ship. The Jimmy ship.
We're pro Schmidt. God damn it. Go on.
It is the greatest set they have had in any of these movies.
The ship itself.
Yes. It's got this like crazy like white interior. It's really minimal and simple. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do,
You only see it for like 1 minute at the end of the movie.
Wait,
It's called like what the hell is the ship called?
which one? I'm sorry, I don't even remember which one
Jimmy
it is.
Smits' ship. It's
Jimmy. If I search that.
it's Organa. What's it?
It's a huge ship. We're not talking like a little cruiser.
No,
We're
it's
talking
a
huge
big ship.
He's in.
Bail Organa spaceship interior. This is what's being Googled right now.
Do you guys not know what I'm talking
No,
about?
I do know what you're talking about.
I have no clue
I do know what you're talking about. I'm going to try to find the scene where it happened. Here. Heroes
Tontiv
regroup.
4?
That's it. The Tontiv 4.
Yeah.
We were watching it now?
Yeah, it's this thing.
Oh,
so
I
it's like
watched this.
the ship on the outside kind of looks
The
like a
blockade
wiener.
runner. That's what it's called.
It looks like
Yeah.
a wiener on the outside. We have to say it's long and it's got protruding top, and then like it's sort
It's
of
got wings.
it's got
No,
it's
ball
not.
wings.
It's that
it's
thing.
ball wings. Okay.
It's that thing.
Oh, got
It
it.
has
look
like
like
a
a
bunch of
wiener.
circular
Yeah,
engines.
It looks very
We
strange.
see inside this thing briefly. Are we going to see inside it
Yes.
now? And
Is it this thing?
No. Here,
No.
watch. We're about
We're
to see
watching
it.
it.
I go. Who's this? Is this Obi-Wan docking with it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
think
no,
so.
but this is your
and
point.
that ship has a
Here's
nice
my-
interior too. I want to say.
I
liked
look
it.
at this interior. Look at this.
yeah,
it's a
that's
real
cool.
set.
This is really good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
And like it feels like a
It's-
definable place.
Right.
Ugh.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I?
And it has the right aesthetic. A
Yes.
lot of the stuff on Coruscant doesn't feel right.
And there's one
Yeah.
other time the movie does this, and I hate bits. I hate them.
We don't like bits.
And it's at the end when Vader and Palpatine and some other guy are hanging out on an Imperial cruiser, and they're looking out at
Yeah.
the stars,
Yes.
at this thing being built, the killer planet, whatever it's called.
Uh,
That is also a great set.
Yes.
With his like corridor that he walks down, and there's all these people like working in the pit below him, and you sort of get the idea that like the Empire is sort of brushing away all the sort of like art, the gold and the lavish of the old era.
You're talking about the Killer Star.
Yeah, the
Death Planet.
killer star, Death Planet. Yeah, whatever.
I
it's
also
called.
hate bits. It doesn't even need
Hate
repeating. The thing
Sonia
I
hates us
hate
right now.
both of you so much.
the other thing I think, because I'm looking at this design, right, and
Look at
it's
this.
like
Look at this. No one can see what we're talking
this is
about.
a
except for
practical
Sonia.
set. It's a white hallway.
Yeah.
There's some stuff on the walls, but it looks like the real inside of like a military vehicle,
Yes.
right? Of like a submarine or something. There's a basis in reality. It's not just business. It's not just ornate design for design's sake.
Right.
And it's practical.
Yeah.
And it's clean.
Yeah.
It's minimalistic. There's not all
They
this
had
chaos.
to build this.
Do you know what this kind of reminds me of? In a very primal way.
What?
And I hate bits. I'm just going
I
to
hate
restate
bits.
this. Because I know
Fuck bits.
people are saying, "Oh, this is getting so dry now. This is getting so dry," but it's because we hate bits that we're going to talk very
What
dryly
does it
about all
remind you of?
this. The Darth Vader design. Honestly, there's
Yeah.
a classicism
Yeah, exactly.
to
Yeah.
that, to the Killer Star, to the interior
All
of
right.
this ship.
That's enough.
They all look fucking. They're
Well,
intelligently,
they look
elegantly
tactile.
designed. They're
Yeah,
tactile.
yeah.
They're great.
Love it. Anyway,
Good sidebar.
we were talking about Bail Organa.
I hate both of you so much.
Sonia, thank you so much for being on
We
the
love
show.
you, Sonia, and we love bits. I mean, we hate bits.
I mean, we hate bits, but
Love
we do
you,
love
hate bits.
Jimmy Smits.
Pro
Jimmy
Smits,
Smits' ship.
anti bits.
How do you feel about Jimmy Smits? Now,
I knew that.
he's very handsome.
He's
Yeah,
very
of course he's
handsome.
very
We
handsome.
all
Very
have-
charming.
We've talked about this a lot.
And I
He's
feel
very
like he's
handsome.
cast almost as just like, here's the most stable man like in the galaxy, basically, right? Like, here's a real straight arrow.
So I can't.
Be honest. This is a Pro Smits podcast, but we'll take
take-
any opinions.
I wish that what I really wish had happened is that. What I really wish that had happened is that instead of Leia being randomly adopted by Bail Organa,
Yeah.
that there maybe was some actual relationship that developed between Padmé and Bail Organa.
Sure.
That's sort
So
of
there's a lot of unspoken, like, we're just supposed to assume, like, oh, these two are Senate allies or whatever.
right.
Yeah.
I had always imagined that it would end that way with them. That
Here's how I wanted this movie to end. Sort of going off this.
Okay.
Why doesn't Padme survive?
Why doesn't she
Why
survive?
doesn't
Because it would be kind of cool for Padme to pull out of that
Yeah.
after being choked out by Anakin, the same thing after having the babies, and be like, I still think there's good in him, but we've lost him.
Right.
And we have to start organizing.
And now we have to
against
start.
him.
Yeah, exactly.
It
would have been a very
And
strong.
even
thing
if she
to
has
do.
to send her kids away, to protect them.
That's
she
the
would've-
thing. I think she could give the kids away to protect
But
them.
still
Right.
be alive. Like,
Yeah.
it just sucks that she has such a pathetic end after these 3 movies.
It also is weird that Luke gets sent to where he does.
Well, yeah.
Like,
We talked about it a little bit in the last
we
episode.
mentioned
We
it
could talk
last
about it
week, and
again.
Griffin
it
told me to
doesn't
stop.
feel like the safest place.
No.
It feels like
Where do you
the
have any
least
human
safe
attachment, Anakin?
place.
I don't know. Really, just Tatooine, where I'm from, and that's it. Like, I mean, the one place.
And why would you send him to? Well,
The
anyway.
only connection.
Yeah, it's a lot.
He's never gonna fucking look for Bail Organa. Like,
Yeah, it was a little frustrating. I mean, I get it dovetails with just when these movies were coming out, and if you're a fan, you're interested, and they announce all of the casting, so they announce like who's going to be in it, and like da 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 da, and you have all the elements in your head, and it's sort of like David, it's a lot like when we would talk about like the Game of Thrones season, like we were talking about the Game of Thrones season finale this time, and it's like who's in it, and it's going to be there, and you construct this finale in your head with all of those parts.
Yeah.
That is so much better than what they come up with,
Yeah.
because you're like, oh well, they're like they could do this, and
It's
like
the-
she does
It's
this,
the
and I'm
problem
like,
with payoff. It's the problem with
but I mean, but like. The thing is, this is no one's vision. This is like literally
George
not
Lucas's
even.
vision.
Georgie
No, it's
Porgy.
not. Not even George Lucas showed up to this movie. Is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been saying that this
been-
movie, he does seem to be like, I don't know.
well, we just kind of have to make sure everyone fits here.
Yeah, he wants
and then-
everyone in a certain spot at the end, but yeah, he makes a lot of
I
very
think he was
lazy
kind of
story decisions.
a weekend warrior on this one. Was fighting some of the battles and outsourcing them to others.
So, what did you guys think of the parallel with Padme going to the hospital ship and Anakin going to become Vader?
Yeah.
Because that is like nicely sort of
It is.
paralleled
It is,
in a
yeah.
way that I wasn't really expecting from this.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And she goes to die and create life, and he goes to become a horrible cyborg
Yeah. To live, but at what cost?
and yell no.
Yes. No. Oh.
Can I sidebar for this for a second? I know we talked about the no in the past, but I didn't really realize the moment is he's given the bad news, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he breaks free of the chains.
Yeah. He forces the room.
He takes 5 steps forward and then says no.
Yeah.
So for someone to say no in that kind of environment, you think it would just be a primal reaction.
Yeah.
Your wife is dead. No! She tells him, your wife is dead. And then he goes like, breaks the chains, steps forward a little bit, gets in a position, shakes his arms out, gets limber. And then, like, people always rag on the no moment. I think it's because it feels so forced and artificial because it's not
Absolutely.
just
it's like grafted into the moment.
people do embarrassing emotional things.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
But it's like it has to play in a certain rhythm where it really does feel like this
I
is.
would love to see George Lucas talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to see him admit some fault and maybe say, like, yeah, like, that scene maybe could have played a little better. Like, now that I watch it, maybe the no seems a little weird.
It would be great if we
I've
could
never
talk to
seen-
George Lucas. Could you imagine
Hey,
if we
George,
got
you
to
want to be
sit
on the
down
show?
with him?
Email us. I'm davidlsims@gmail.com.
Let's start us out. Griffin and David present at gmail.com. George Lucas, if you're interested, we've been ragging on you a lot. If you want to come on and defend yourself, we would happily have you on an episode.
Yeah.
Just keep that out there.
If he is on the show, can you please ask him if his nickname has ever been Georgie Porch?
Georgie Porch.
Yeah, Georgie Porch.
Yeah, that's his nickname on this one.
Let's talk
bits.
about the actual no bits. Let's talk about the actual death. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the
You
cause
really
of
want to
death.
talk
This
about
is a
it.
big
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, no,
Griffins
it's-
really
to
hung
talk
up on
about.
this.
It's shitty.
It is shitty. It is shitty.
shitty.
So when Anakin reveals to her, all her suspicions are correct, right?
Yeah, he's been murdering children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's working for the dark side.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
exterminated a bunch of Jedi.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She goes like, Anakin, what are you talking about? How do you, Anakin? I don't.
And she does. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She manifests the first rejection of, like, the first, like, oh wait, I'm a person that isn't in love with, like, that isn't totally just this person's, like,
Yes.
lackey. Yeah.
Yes, she gets a little disillusioned, and I appreciate your apology because I was really connected emotionally to that performance, and it's gonna take me another second to get back into it. You made a good point, Sonia, and I'm glad you did, but I just hold
No
on.
bits. Come on.
The train was running. Okay, she goes, Anakin,
She has a line, I think, that you're trying
You're
to get to.
breaking my heart, Anakin.
There it is. Yeah.
Now, it's this very, very earnest. I actually kind of like the way she delivers it.
She's a pretty good actress.
Right? I think given that line
She's
on the
bad
page.
in the movie, but she's pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think given that line on the page, having to deliver that line, I think she makes a kind of interesting choice, which is to really deliver it as like a girl caught up in a romantic fantasy that's now crumbling around her.
Yes.
She had this very simple idea of like wanting to be together and be happy with him.
Yes.
And she's now reduced to like, breaking my heart is like this very childlike notion of like literally a heart being broken in twain or whatever. She says that. He chokes her. Obi-Wan says stop.
Yeah.
Right?
God.
She's lying there perfectly. She's in a perfect
Yeah, she
line.
falls
she
to
is. She's
just-
like this
yeah.
perfect.
But it's like literally when they cut to her on the ground, her arms are still held out as if she was bracing the fall.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan takes her back on the ship, brings her to Bail Organa's place. He has the droid with the clasped hands.
Wait, does Obi-Wan take her back on the ship? I want to say C-3PO and R2 do. Is this a crazy thing?
No,
All right.
they-
Obi-Wan's on the ship with them, definitely. But it might be C-3PO and R2-D2 physically take
Right,
her.
because
Yeah,
she's
Obi-Wan
there.
then fights
Obi-Wan
Anakin.
checks her
Yeah,
pulse
yes,
or something.
correct.
Then they go fight. And then they come back and they're both of the droids are like whistling a bunch. They're like, "Oh my God, something's happened! You got to do a
They
thing."
whistle away.
Da-da-da. And he's like, "Okay," and he like goes inside the ship.
Yeah, because
All
I
right.
think they get her to a hospital ship. It's not like
Yes.
their ship is a hospital ship, is
yeah,
it?
they have to fly her too. So and that's where Yoda and Bail Organa
Right,
are.
I think
Right.
that's on Bail Organa's planet.
yeah,
They
His
bring him to a
fantastic ship.
hospital.
on his ship.
Right,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
use his fantastic ship to get to his planet where the hospital is, I believe. It's hard to
It's
keep
on a
track
planet?
of this
No,
movie.
it's on a ship, bro.
Is it?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I thought the thing with the crater...
This
I don't
honestly
know.
doesn't matter.
It's okay.
That's a good point.
Genuinely impossible to follow. But somehow she gets to a hospital.
Yes.
Right? Far
Yep.
away from Anakin.
Yep.
In answer to your question, Sonia, I do like paralleling those two actions against each other. I wish for someone like George, who talks so much about trying to create like visual repetition,
Mm-hmm.
circular imagery throughout the films, they're constructed in very different ways. They're cutting back and forth between the two, and I think he could have, like, from a nerdy filmmaking perspective, really created like visual contrast and similarities between the two things, whereas now it's just two actions being presented, shot in very different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But delivery room, the robot comes out. She hasn't given birth to even one of the babies yet,
This
right?
is true.
Yes.
And the robot comes out with his little clasped hands.
He's got kind of like sad face,
He's got
you know?
He looks a little bit like Wally.
Yeah, he has these
actually.
droopy Wally
Yeah,
eyes. Yeah,
now that I
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it,
would be
yeah.
funny though if he was a doctor and he had to like load like a frowny face emoji, you know, like. But then if he had good news, he would load like a happy, you know. Like,
I was gonna say, do you think they have a bad news robot and a good news
yeah,
robot?
they might. They have like a Patch Adams robot.
Yeah. The other one waves his arms around.
Oh God.
And he has big, goofy eyes, and this one
God.
has sad eyes, and he clasps his hands. But he goes, it's fascinating. Medically, she's in perfect condition. I'm paraphrasing here, but this is really what
Yeah,
he
yeah.
said.
There's nothing that's really
Right.
wrong with her.
He goes, it's weird. Medically, she's in perfect condition, but yet we seem to be losing her.
Yes.
It's almost as if she has lost the will to live. She delivers 2 babies,
Yep.
which is a very taxing physical act.
Not easy. Although it seems easy, so maybe there's some technology.
Yeah,
just
they
pull 'em
use
out.
like the scoop arms
Yeah,
and a vacuum,
scooper
and just
just-
yeah, I like don't even know what's happening under that hood.
But
That is true.
My point is, within the world that we know, right? Perhaps not Georgie Porgy's Phantom Menace world, but within the world we know, it is very difficult to have a baby.
Yeah.
To physically deliver a baby.
It's a
And-
memorable day when it happens. I think it's usually you're like, this was quite a day.
Good or bad, you remember it.
Yeah.
Beyond
And
that,
2 in a row.
two in
Two in a row.
Two in a row.
Pretty big.
Not easy.
In olden times, and let's not forget that
There's a galaxy
Revenge
far,
of
far
the
away
Sith
a long time ago.
is a
Yes,
period piece.
fair,
It
yeah,
is a
that's a good
period film,
point.
right? In olden times, many women would not survive childbirth.
Sure.
And they would not go, I guess she just lost the will to live. They'd go, hey, guess what? Delivering babies is really tough. And if you're even slightly hobbled when you start doing it, it might kill you. You might not make it
Why
through.
doesn't the doctor say, like, yeah, you know, Apparently, it seems like she has just been choked and assaulted by an extremely powerful Jedi. Did that happen recently? That would help explain all of this.
Did she?
No.
I mean, they're making dying of a broken heart.
Yeah, she
into,
died
like,
of a broken
real
heart.
thing.
That's
right.
the thing.
But your point is, like, from a story perspective, she is in a weakened physical state.
Yeah.
Right.
Did not know she had 2 babies within her, and now has to deliver both at the same time.
Yeah.
That might kill someone in her position, especially someone as slight as she is to begin with.
She's
right?
undernourished.
Right.
Clearly, she'd never been to a gynecologist
No.
because she didn't know she had 2 babies.
And it was in
inside her
secret.
the
Maybe
whole
that's because it
time.
was a secret pregnancy.
Yeah, that must be why. Good
Although
point.
she could have just bought this doctor, right? He's a robot. Just go to like Sears and get a doctor robot.
That's a really good point.
You know?
I actually was wondering if they were like going to insist on like a life form like inspecting her at some point, like a human doctor even. She is a human.
She is a human.
Maybe
human.
she would need but this is what you just
Are
outsource
you
medical science to droids.
I think so. I mean, like, are you saying it's sort of like how at the TSA checkpoint you could be like, I want to be patted down by someone of my, like, she's like, excuse me, a human should deliver these human babies.
I mean, I think
that
it's
sounds
because
like, yeah, droid
droids
racism.
don't know what living like. How can a like? It's so
Oh, look,
odd that a
look.
droid.
That's a little offensive. If I can chime in here.
Also, if you
You're
want to
saying
just...
no droid can be a human doctor ever?
Wait a
Okay.
second. No, wait a second,
Wait
though.
no, patriarchy much? Sonia, Jesus Christ.
But wait, we can't get into the droids because they don't make sense.
It's actually
No, 'cause
really
they don't
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
this
droid
movie
thing
does
is
not
actually really
explain droids.
There actually is like an extended universe arc that's about like whether or not the droids are oppressed, which is kind of interesting.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting. Maybe should have included it in one of these 3 movies. These movies have a million droid robots that get chopped into pieces.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Oh yeah. You got to tap out there, David. You're like.
Do they have sentience, or are they scared the moment before they're cleft in twain?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Padmé's dying because she's lost the will to
Yeah,
live.
she has
She's
a broken
lost the
heart.
will to live.
Right?
Diagnosis.
And she dies. She
So-
just expires.
Yeah.
We can create our own.
It is the most boring death scene.
It
It
is.
is the most
Yeah.
garbage, boring
It
death
is.
scene.
She literally just stops
She
being
doesn't.
alive.
There isn't even. Yeah, she just. It's like she's been unplugged. Like there isn't even. There's even. But there isn't even a reference to the grueling physical act that she has gone through, or even the fact that she was choked, or like force choked, like half to death or whatever. She's just like, oh, now I'm sad.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
But when they cut to her right after the doctor's like, it's like she's just lost the will to live. They cut to her delivering the babies. She seems in pain because
she's yelling.
she is
She's
pushing out 2 babies.
Yeah.
She does not appear to be dying.
No.
She makes it through the delivery kind of okay.
Yeah.
And then immediately afterwards dies.
And it sucks because it's like she has 2 babies. She couldn't see those babies and be like, oh, new will to live. Look, I have
There's-
children.
Yeah.
Like,
No, there is no concept also of like the actual process of birth. Like I
Yes.
feel like I should make that clear. I just want to reiterate
I
that.
think
it makes
we've
literally
yeah.
no sense whatsoever.
No.
Okay. That's great.
And also, she uses her final words to, like, as you said, offered sort
To
of
defend
an
her,
abused
yeah.
partner's defense of, like, you don't understand, he's not like that with me.
Except he is that one time.
Right.
Also, they're operating on her, but it's guys. I love
look.
It makes no sense.
Like a lot of things in this movie and in this series,
It makes
it's
no
a little half-assed. Like, he has the general idea down. Anakin betrays her. She has the babies and dies in childbirth. But he doesn't go into any detail. And this is a problem he has all the time. It's like, the Jedis get wiped out by the clone troopers. We programmed a thing in their brains. I don't know. They wipe him out. Like, and like, let's have a few shots of Jedis getting killed. And then
Yeah.
you get the picture. There's no, it's all like, hey, I'm tying it up. See, I tied it up. Great. Moving. Next on,
Now, here's the thing I keep on picking up on every time I rewatch it, and I don't know if I'm crazy. Okay?
You're crazy, Griffin.
Well, we know that. I mean, I know I'm crazy in general, but
especially for rewatching this movie that
I
many
know, I'm
times.
such a lunatic. With regards to this one thread that I might be imagining
Thread.
or inferring, a thread, okay? When Anakin first gets the first premonition dream of Padmé dying, the like shots he sees are Padmé screaming in agony,
Yep.
and then Obi-Wan being like, it's okay, you're gonna make
Right.
it. And I remember seeing this movie for the first time being like, oh, is he putting together, like, there's something weird about the fact that Obi-Wan is there consoling her when she's dying?
Mm-hmm.
Is there, like, a jealousy element?
Mm-hmm.
There's the scene where Obi-Wan goes to see Padme
Mm-hmm.
to warn her of what's going on, and they decide to both hitch over to Mustafar and
Right.
try to, like, figure
Talk
out
him out
what's
of it,
going
yeah.
on. And I do feel like the first time I rewatched it, I thought there was a weird kind of romantic tension between the two of them.
Sure.
It felt like there was some sort of chemistry. Upon rewatching it again this morning, I now think that perhaps it is just seeing two good actors play off each other.
Well, and actual care and affection, even
Yes.
if it's not necessarily romantic,
Right.
being expressed by these actors, as you say.
That all the Anakin Padmé scenes have been so devoid of any sort of passion in this film, and that also Ewan McGregor's a good actor.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman's a good actor.
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen is not good.
No.
Most of the scenes that both of them have in this film are either playing off of computer robots or Hayden Christensen. And so this one scene that the two of them are in together, it's not like a great scene of acting, but you're like, oh, one character's saying something and the other person's reacting to it emotionally and making choices.
On this point, though, another thing, like these are also the two rational characters in this movie saga.
Yes.
And they rarely interact.
And that scene is like a nice
And they are the two
reprieve.
level-headed ones. When everything's going to shit, they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, and it's not like where it's Yoda, where you're like, Yoda, why didn't you do anything? And he's like, you know, and or Anakin or Palpatine. Like, you know, these two are the two pretty smart guys who are not too emotional about shit. Like, they're normal.
Wait, we're talking about Amidala as one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Padme and Obi-Wan. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great scene, but every time I get to it in the rewatch, I like feel relaxed and I'm like, this just has a
You
nice
get real relaxed.
vibe to it.
It's a good scene.
And I kind of
Yeah.
want to ship the two of them, if only because I'm like, these two deserve each other. Obi-Wan seems really lonely.
This
and
used
Padme
to be a
needs
threat.
someone.
People used to think this was going to be a thing. I remember with Attack of the Clones, they were like, how's this going to resolve? Is Obi-Wan going to get in the middle of this? Like people, and then it never really pays off.
Well, and this is sort of what I was saying about Bail Organa, the other ship, is that I think
that's a ship.
Well, it's a ship in the sense that they're
He's got a great ship.
Leia's
No bets.
adopted parents or something like that, right? Yes, he's got a great ship.
No
yeah,
bets.
I mean, it's, I like you expect that.
We're good. There was a good. I got a good piece of Sonia spit right on my forehead.
Oh,
We're
cool.
good.
Yeah,
We're good.
You sort
Far
of-
worse things have happened on this podcast.
You sort of expect that Padme's affections will shift. You sort of expect
Mm-hmm.
that she will fall in love with someone else, or like that
Yeah,
some other
right.
affection will.
Yeah.
And even if that were to happen, as you say, post the movie, like if she survives and then like moves on or something,
Yeah.
but instead she like has to die with that relationship.
Yeah.
Like
I also think he could have done something where, because we keep on saying, like, the moment where Anakin just fucking turns and starts choking her out makes so little sense.
It's very
For
frustrating.
everything that's been built up. He has the dream where he sees her, Obi-Wan by her side while she
Griffin,
dies.
we've done this so many times now.
Okay, he doesn't see the conversation. She gets off the ship. She's trying to, like, reason with him, and then Obi-Wan walks off.
yeah.
Don't you think the smart thing was, like, his anger is, you told Obi-Wan about this? I thought you trusted me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there would be more reason for her to get angry and lash out at her if he thought suddenly, like, wait, why are the two of you together? I had the two of you together in my dream. Are the two of you sleeping together behind my
Oh,
back?
I see. You're just saying they should have maybe.
Gone with a different motivation.
But you also are just mad at the way that scene plays out just because it's
So
so
angry.
inexplicable.
So angry.
Yeah.
But it kind of would make more sense also for Anakin from a character perspective at that point, who is now becoming so paranoid about everyone around him, to
Right.
be like, everyone's teaming up against me.
right.
You don't love me anymore.
And I wonder if infidelity would have just been too complex, like for this.
For George.
Well, for George, who I think is really pitching this movie at 6-year-olds. Like, I don't
That's
think
fair.
Theoretically.
theoretically.
Although this
I
movie's
mean,
pitched a little up, but
I mean, obviously, I think that one of the things that's so perplexing to him is that other people like it, but he's always like he's painting with these very broad strokes, and so he can't have infidelity. Like he
Yes.
can't. There's no room for it in his brain. I don't know.
no, that's
I
a
mean,
fair point.
I mean, and to go back to the dream, I mean, I do think it's interesting because I did rewatch that scene too. I mean, dream sequences in film, I mean, especially in something like this where they're not really given the sort of like David Chase treatment of like real, you know, like
Ooh, I'd love a David
really
Chase
lived in.
treatment.
Which
There's
is-
like an elephant and Annette Bening is there. That'd be great.
Right? No, it's,
Yeah.
it's amazing, right? This is like there's like a few images, and he wakes up, and clearly, like the emotional, like what makes a dream compelling is that there's some emotions going on with the music video in your head that makes you, you know, that's what keeps you up at night, whatever. And he is sort of trying to convey like those emotions when he wakes up. So I've never really hewed too close to what his actual images are because I've sort of been like, okay, what really matters is how Anakin felt about this. But also I wonder if maybe the reason that he then chokes Amidala out is just because George Lucas is like, no, he's bad. He's now bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's no nuance to it. It's just
There
now he's
isn't.
bad. Now he's bad.
And
now
there
he's
isn't.
It's
There is no
very
nuance
simple.
to it.
bad. Right.
Okay.
I don't know.
What's on your phone, Griffin?
I want to read. We had a listener, Anna Maria, sent in a theory, not her own theory, but she said, this is interesting. Have you read this? Do you know about this? And this is, I will not read this entire thing.
Please do not.
But this guy wrote a whole piece on saying, people shit on Revenge of the Sith.
Who is this guy? Is this some Reddit guy?
His name is Joseph Tavano, okay? Editorial, Padmé didn't die of a broken heart.
Okay.
I find it odd that one of the most pivotal, mysterious moments of Star Wars saga is discussed infrequently when the case is closed. People who come to the same wrong conclusion, Of
What's
course,
his conclusion?
I'm talking about the end of Revenge of the Sith, one of my all-time favorite films.
Oh, dear.
Oh dear.
I haven't been counting, but I've seen this movie 500 times, and I'm still finding new things to consider.
Wait. He
No,
hasn't
this
been
is the thing.
counting, but he has
look.
seen it 500
On the
times.
nugget.
If you watch a movie that many times, you're going to invent things about it.
Exactly.
Anyway.
The final hour of this movie is densely packed with information, but it doesn't hold your hand. Where a lesser film
That is... Oh my God.
It's like,
would have wrapped things up with an explosive
All right, Griffin, what's his
voiceover. Revenge of the
theory?
Sith demands that viewers watch how things unfold and ask the viewer to put the pieces together themselves. Unfortunately, not everyone has put together the proper way. Okay, so his argument is, point by point, I'm just going to paraphrase at this point. I'm not going to
real
read it.
paraphrasing.
Yes. I had to read his
All
exact
right,
words
come on,
to
Jesus.
condemn him before I start sharing his theory. One is that the film never says that she dies of a broken heart.
No,
she says,
he
Anakin,
doesn't.
you're breaking my heart, and then the robot says she's lost the will to live.
Yeah.
But we're not idiots, and we can put one and one together. That's the implication.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is he says it wasn't the choke that killed her.
Okay.
okay,
Because
No one's
it
saying
was
that.
brief enough, this and that.
Whatever. Number 3.
those babies could have been brain dead though.
Point
Yeah,
number
maybe they're real
3.
stupid.
Point number 3, he goes, droids don't know squat about the Force. He's saying because droids are mechanical and they pick up on...
Oh my God! So he's doing the droid truther doctor thing too.
Droid truther.
He is.
Okay, so droids, but who cares?
Yes, all droids.
So are you...
Hashtag yes, all droids. He's saying that droids would not be able to pick up on the Force. And so medically she's completely healthy. For some reason we can't explain, we're losing her. She's dying. We don't know why she lost the will to live. He claims that the reason they can't pick up on is the Force. And that Palpatine, in talking about being able to use the Force to extend people's lives and to end them, has been killing Padmé from a distance so that he could put the machinations in place to
but
make
that's
Anakin
stupid.
fulfill his destiny. I agree. I think it's a dumb theory.
Yeah, because if he could do that, he'd do it all the time.
Exactly.
Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, that aside, I don't know if that's true. One of the things that's interesting is that when Anakin wakes up as Darth Vader,
Mhm.
that Palpatine knows that Padmé's dead.
Yeah.
And
This
I
is-
have had questions about
This
that.
is the big linchpin of this guy's argument.
Right.
He goes,
That-
why would Palpatine know that? How could he know
just
that?
immediately knows
It's because
that.
Palpatine killed her. It's because Palpatine can turn the Force into life and can pull life out through the Force, and that these droids who are so binary would look at it and go, we don't know how to explain it. She's losing the will to live. And then in reality, he's sucking it out of her so that he can make Anakin.
You know, that would be interesting if it was in the movie.
I agree.
You know, like,
I totally.
I might
yeah.
buy into that if it was in the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like you could make. I feel like you would have to make the argument that somehow, like Anakin, like Amidala is more more susceptible to this Force sucking thing than the average person, and then maybe you could make that whole argument.
You're saying
right?
it would need to have been set up in any way by this film in order to work?
Let's not get crazy.
I
Griffin.
agree.
Um,
Yeah, and I also, I mean, this guy's saying, oh, well, the last 30 minutes are so misinterpreted, but they're actually really dense and they're not holding your hand. Every other moment
Yeah,
of the
hold your
last 2.5 movies have been holding your hand
yeah,
so
hold
much.
your hand the whole time.
This movie has no
I
subtext.
hate fan theories.
Me too.
I hate them. I hate fan theories.
Merchandise Spotlight.
Yay! I was about to set that
It's
up.
time.
Merchandise Spotlight.
I was so mad about the merchandise spotlight last time, and now I'm really
I
excited.
know you want it. This is just a small one. I found two. I want to go in a different direction because
Okay.
we do a lot of toys and stuff like that. I want to go in a different direction. Kellogg's Company
Sure.
created some food products.
Sure. Some
for Revenge of the
cereals.
Sith.
All right.
The cereal was kind of boring. I mean, it was just like,
Sith flake.
Cheerios and then marshmallows, but the marshmallows didn't look very good. So I got two items here. One is Revenge of the Sith fruit snacks.
Nice.
Delish.
Gummy fruit snacks, okay? So they have 6 shapes.
Yeah.
Just guess. I want you to guess.
Darth Vader helmet.
One.
Stormtrooper helmet.
A clone trooper helmet. I don't know what you're talking about. Stormtrooper.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. Clone trooper helmet.
Lightsaber?
Nope.
Ship. What are the ships?
They're all characters. I'll give you that hint. They're all characters.
Yoda head.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, good thinking. Obi-Wan?
Nope.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Jar Jar.
Grievous?
No, they're all Revenge of the Sith characters. I'll give
General
you that
Grievous
hint.
is a Revenge of the
No,
Sith
I was saying that in
character.
response to Jar Jar, but I know he's in it for a second,
He's in
fucking
there for a
crying at
second.
Padmé's
He's
funeral
flopping around.
behind Academy Award nominee Keisha Castle Hughes.
I think he's also flopping when Chancellor gets back.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know, Griffin.
Is Palpatine one of them?
No,
How could Palpatine be one of them? C-3PO and R2.
correct.
Okay.
And what do you think the sixth one would be?
I think it's going to be something really weird, and you're excited to tell us.
Yeah. That fucking Wookiee. Not
we talked about
Tarful,
this last week.
but
How weird it
goddamn
is.
Chewbacca.
Yoda is so nice to this random Wookiee called Chewbacca.
Who's he paying off to get this kind of billing? I bet he's a fucking fourth build in this movie.
He's
Chewbacca.
high build in this movie.
If that,
Yeah.
he's barely in
He's
it.
barely in it. He doesn't do anything. What kid wants to eat Chewbacca? What kid remembers Chewbacca?
What
Wow.
flavor is Chewbacca? Chewbacca appears
Orange.
to be orange. Delicious.
I want to see this.
And C-3PO is lemon.
Oh,
R2
sure,
is like a
obviously.
blueberry.
No, you
Yoda's
see,
probably...
C-3PO should have been blueberry, and R2 should have been lemon, because R2's very sour.
Oh, David.
That was,
You cad, you.
I cannot believe you just said that. I can't. How hard is it? Do you think it is to make a black gummy bear? Because I would like to see that.
A
for
Vader.
Oh, yeah, because we should
'Cause that's
mention
like
that
a
Vader
dark
is
blue.
black and is blue rather than being black. He could be a black cherry or something, right?
Yeah, of course,
Blackberry.
you know, there's
Yeah.
licorice.
Yeah.
Licorice, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then the clone trooper is grape. It's purple.
Anyway, what's the other
second
merch in the
item?
spotlight?
Second item. So this is a very tragic film, as we know.
Yeah.
It ends in misery. A once innocent boy filled with promise and potential,
We know how the movie ends, Griffin.
love in his life,
Sand, gritty, hot.
gets into a fight with his best friend and mentor
Yeah.
on a lava planet, is
Gets
pushed
burned
into
to
the
a
lava,
crisp.
gets his legs cut off.
Good death.
Lava planet's the same site where he chokes his wife, which then kills her will to live, right? How do we make a fun food that ties into that? What about lava berry Pop-Tarts? Pop-Tarts. 2 episodes. My brain's exploding.
Frosted lava berry explosion with
Just Darth Vader's big helmet
yeah,
on
with
it.
Darth Vader's big helmet. Like
He's just, oh my God.
Consume the fires
This is-
that consumed me.
Okay, this is guys. It's a box. We're just looking at a picture of a Pop-Tarts
It's
box.
true.
Very
the
brightly
Pop-Tarts
colored.
are bright pink.
Yeah.
with
Vader's
like
kinda
yellow
leaning
like
in.
sprinklers. And then yes, Darth Vader's just fucking looming.
Yeah, he's got like
on
kind
the
of a
right.
sitcom tilt.
With
you know?
this,
He's
right.
sort of
He's got this
"Whoop."
tilt, and he
Can
just
I
looks
have
like
one of those?
he is going to devour your soul. Like limited edition Star Wars Pop-Tarts, frosted lava berry explosion. I can't read. What does this say?
Well, he's probably-
With something filling. What does that say?
You know, raspberry.
It's
or
with
whatever.
wild berry filling.
Wild berry.
It's got wild berry filling, I think, or lava berry filling.
Oh
I
wait,
don't know.
so is the lava berries is the lava of the pits?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But most Pop-Tarts are like one color on the outside and then like the frosting and then the inside filling. And this is like all pink. Like the
Lava
crust is
berry
pink,
explosion.
the frosting's pink, the filling is pink, and then there are
Wow.
little flecks.
Relive the loss of your mortal body and the betrayal of. Yeah, I mean, of course, absolutely.
Do you know why he looks so threatening here in the box? Because he's furious that they're making light of the death of everything he once
it is-
was in a fucking breakfast
It's
snack.
also because his head is like a skull with 2 giant eyes, but fair enough.
It is a great design.
What I also appreciate is the Pop-Tarts is like a pop secret,
Yeah.
like reference here
Yeah.
to his paternity
Yeah.
being a thing, or not his
he didn't know he was a pop. He didn't know he was a double pop.
double pop.
Griffin, the Inside Out app is on your front page of apps.
I play it all the time. It's a game.
What kind of a game is it?
It's
Is it like a Bubble Bobble?
Yeah, it's where you have to match up the
Yeah,
colors. Yeah,
yeah,
you have to
yeah.
match up memory
It's
orbs.
like Snood.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah,
I
that's
play it all
great.
the time. Inside Out's a great movie. It makes me feel good about people.
Inside Out's a wonderful movie.
I haven't seen it
You
yet.
should see it. It's
I
great.
know I haven't seen anything.
It's a terrific movie.
Nah.
That's really good.
Probably in my top 5 of the year.
Hey, don't say that, Sonia. You have seen something. You've seen Star
Ba,
Wars
ba, da,
Episode
ba.
3, Revenge of the Sith. And thank you for rewatching parts of this movie. in preparation
Thank you guys for
today.
having me.
Hey, Benny,
What's up?
did you have something you wanted to do?
Well, it was kind of a weird tangent I went off on.
You were
while
clicking
guys-
around.
Yeah, with last episode when we discussed just one particular character, it was Palpatine's episode, I had suggested, who else would you have liked to have seen play
this
character? We went off talking about Al Pacino, kind of based on
Pacino as Palpatine.
the similarity to the movie Devil's Advocate. Sure. So I went off on this really terrible search of looking for movies where women are beaten or die during childbirth.
Oh my god!
Great job, Ben.
Did not find really any helpful or great connections to make.
That's what Ben's been doing.
But that's what I've been doing, guys. So
Keeping Tom Hosley over here.
yeah, he's the peeper.
He's the peeper. Look at the peeper's the new name.
well, guys, Pan's Labyrinth, Ophelia's mother,
Yeah.
Carmen, she dies.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh,
Pan's Labyrinth is a rough
off.
movie.
That's
Have you guys seen Crimson Peak?
No, is it great?
I really liked it.
Yeah, if I can stomach the blood, I think I should see it because I do really love that. Yeah.
Buddy.
Just so Ben's suggestion wasn't a total dead end, I would like to present for this new segment Star Wars What Ifs.
Okay.
I'd like to present this is Al Pacino as Padme Amidala. Anakin, you're breaking my heart.
That was terrible. I'm not laughing.
Oh, I loved it.
Everyone else loved it.
The room loves it.
loved it. The room.
The room loves it.
Yep.
I wonder. I mean, what other? I mean, we almost had a universe where like Rose Byrne was Amidala, or like Keira Knightley, or I guess Keisha Castle Hughes.
Probably. She was pretty young.
Are you grooming Griff right
He's
now?
got a lot of sound.
The soundproofing
dust on
is
him.
leaking onto my clothing.
Just trying to tell you something.
That would have been good. I don't know. I mean, my takeaway now is that very few actors could have survived any of the parts
I
in these
think
films.
the movie is.
Who would we have liked to see as Anakin? Like really?
That's
we
actually
said
a good
this, Ryan
question.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is a good answer.
Ryan Gosling would have been in just the right position to do it
I
because he
believe
was
he auditioned.
the right age. He was also like a Canadian TV actor primarily at that
But
point.
he was much better at portraying rage.
Yeah, he would have been really good. He's got a better weird fake Brooklyn accent.
Yeah, slightly better.
Yeah. No, because this is my Hayden Christensen. Okay, Padme, I love you so much. This is my Ryan Gosling. Padme, I love you so much.
What happened to Gosling?
I don't know, Padme. I
What
love you.
happened to Gosling?
He's coming back. He made that movie and then he was off the grid. Now he's
He
coming
made that
back.
movie.
I feel
made
like
that
he
movie.
took a. I think he was
Took a
taking a break.
Took a little break.
He wanted to be a daddy.
And he had.
He
a kid or
directed
something, didn't he?
apparently.
Right, he made
bad
that movie, Lost River.
He made that movie.
He made the movie.
But he was in Gangsta Squad, remember?
But
Gangsta
that was
Squad.
right before the break. That
Gangsta
movie was
Squad.
pushed back.
Yeah, well,
I'm a gangster. Gangster Squad. That's my Ryan Gosling.
great.
Padme. My Ryan Gosling is just
Emma
becoming...
Stone might have been a fun Padme.
She would have been good. I mean, but she would have been too, but she would have been
A
good.
little
Yeah.
young, but
My Ryan Gosling is just becoming Muggsy from the Looney Tunes cartoons, the gangster. Padme.
Yeah.
Okay. Great podcast.
I'm so sleepy.
Can't wait to win a Webby Award for this.
Oh my god.
And when we do, Sonia, you'll be up there accepting it with us.
Yay!
Who hosts the Webbies these days?
I think it's Watto. I think Watto hosts them these days.
This is really telling that we've recorded 2 episodes in one day.
Right now, this
am
is getting punched
flagging.
out.
Everyone is just running out of steam.
As if
Oh.
Plop Tarts wasn't already showing my weariness.
Pop Tarts was funny though.
Plop Tarts
was funny.
Okay, and let's just cleanly state, just so we have it on record, we are pro Smits,
Not pro bits.
anti bits,
Yep.
pro Smits ship bits.
Sure, that
Right?
sounds like a cereal. It sounds like a tie-in
Zip Schmidt
cereal.
bits.
Smith
Ship bits.
strips. Yeah,
Congratulations to us all. Thank you for being with us today.
we're great artists. So many people can follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they have to spell my name though. It's hard.
So let's not give them any help.
Sonia Saraiya. Figure it out.
Let's see
She's verified.
who is worthy of following you on Twitter. Can read your work on Salon.
Yes. Also on Salon.
Night Cheese is the
Yes.
other podcast you guys do.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut that out.
Oh, you did? Thank you.
Thanks,
Ben.
Yeah,
man.
no problem.
Yeah. This is a good point to announce that Ben and I are about to start a new spin-off podcast.
That's right. That's right.
It's called Morning Crackers.
No, it's called Cut That Out.
It's pretty short. We end up cutting a lot of stuff out.
It's called Morning Crackers, cut that out. And what happens is I eat a cracker on mic, and then Ben goes, cut that out. And that's each episode.
Yeah.
You have to guess which type of cracker I'm eating. Well, we're terrible people.
Yep.
Watching
want
a
to
terrible
die.
movie.
Watch a terrible movie.
I want to eat my own head. And next time, hopefully, maybe we'll do the performance review next time, or
yeah, it's about syncing up guests, but we got some good ones going up. We're gonna do a performance review, and we're going
look
to
at Jenny
do
Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
Jenny Tartakovsky, my favorite living filmmaker, director of Hotel Transylvania and Hotel Transylvania 2.
Yeah,
did a Clone Wars micro series, animated micro series. I think is better
on the Cartoon Network, I believe.
Yes, better than the film, and so we're gonna do that. Yeah. We're gonna do performance review. We'll see which one comes next, but those are both coming up in your future. They're coming a short time ahead in a galaxy very close by. Don't make fun of me. That's my real voice.
It is not.
Yes, it is. I talk like this.
You're never going to get a Pixar movie.
I'm never going to get a Pixar movie. My career is ruined. Producer Ben, final thoughts?
I don't know.
Sorry we dragged you out here on a Sunday. Ben.
No, it's okay. It was fun. I mean, at first...
At least convincing.
No, it was fun.
No, it was fun.
I mean, the previous episode, I was mad.
Ben was mad. He doesn't talk much in last week's episode.
Wait, why was Ben mad?
Because he didn't want to see
just didn't want to be here doing it, but I warmed up, and this one I had a lot of fun watching.
It was because of
me.
I think it was.
Oh, yay.
We'll call you the Ben breaker, because you break Ben like ice.
Breaking?
I don't know.
All right, we need to be done
Yeah, I
with
think
that.
we
We need to wrap up. I have no final thoughts.
As
Please.
always.
And as always, Smith ships bits. Smith ship bits.
Bye, guys.
Bye.